There's one person, 1,000 years that will be known that lives today.
Satoshi?
No.
Okay.
Elon Musk.
Ah.
And it's not a guarantee yet.
Yeah.
He has to get us to Mars.
Yeah.
If he figures out Mars, he lives forever in the minds of a kid born 1,000 years from now.
You think he'll be able to get there by 2030?
The timeline's really hard. I think that I think SpaceX will get a vehicle or something to Mars. I question, will we get a human onto the surface of Mars? I don't know, the next 20 or 30 years. That one's like a tough one. Now, they believe it's going to be in the next 8 years, which like would be fucking like actually the 8-year part of that prediction is crazier to me than like get to Mars, because it feels like getting to Mars is the foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah.
It's the time frame that would be mind-blowing.
I'm not even sure it's a foregone conclusion. Like we could have.
You don't think we'll get to Mars?
Or I don't know if it's like, if not for Elon Musk, I think it could have taken decades more, potentially never happened. Because
I don't think, unless somebody else like him came along, I don't think it was ever even people. The thing he did was he allowed people to even think it was possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of people who are like, why do you think it's possible? Because this dude said it, right? Like I don't know. He seems to be the expert, right? And so like if he says it's possible, then it must be possible. And it kind of goes back to like venture capital due diligence. Like there's some people who do the due diligence, and there's other people who say like, who's investing? Oh, X firm. All right, cool. They must have done the due diligence.
Right.
The problem here is that like I don't have the scientific expertise or knowledge to actually underwrite, is it possible or is it not? So like to some degree, expertise is important because we can look to folks, right? Like imagine if every single one of us had to go and learn about a virus, a vaccine, like all this stuff, and then come to a conclusion as to like what we should do, and then we all took like a democratic vote. Like that sounds like a nightmare. By the way, that's what DAOs are in its current form. But if you think about kind of like Mars, it's like, yeah, I do think that we will get there. I just 8 years is, 7.5 years, right? Seems impossible, right? Like it really does. Like it is hard to think that way. But I guess if you look back, I mean, how many flights or how many launches per year was SpaceX doing 7.5 years ago? One, maybe. I don't know the number, right? But like they weren't doing one like every 3 days or whatever they're doing, like the rate of progress there is so incredible that like, sure, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. He's an excellent example of one person's vision can have a huge counterfactual impact. I think after he founded PayPal, there was like he immediately, it wasn't like he was going to like take a rest period or anything. He immediately started working on like Tesla. He had like plans for that immediately. It is astounding when you have a person who's like able to actually make their.
But think back 1,000 years. Mm-hmm. We couldn't name anyone. We don't fucking know anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Like literally no one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And guess what? They thought they were important. They thought their contributions to society were essential. There's somebody who thought they were the leader of, the free world or whatever. Nobody remembers their names. We, over the history of Earth, I don't know, 500 people maybe that we can think of that we're like, okay, these people are really important. But the further you get away from their inventions, the less important they become.
Yeah. I think it's also another example of the power law you're talking about, the venture, where if you think about impact on literature and who we remember, Shakespeare is like way up here. He's like the Tesla of literature.
Yes.
And then the next person is like probably less than half as important as him in terms of literature. And then you have just this long tail of people who are like, I'm going to be a great author, and nobody will ever remember your name.
Yeah.
Or true of philosophers, true of like leaders, world leaders. The person who matters the most is going to matter so much more than everybody else combined.
Hey, you. Did you like this video? Great. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.